Hello everyone, we are from student CSE 1024, Programming Principles. Today we are going to be presenting in our Python-based inventory management system project. And here is our group members, start from Kaisin, Maybelline, Nicholas, Reina, and myself, Johan. And now I'm going to explain about the project objectives and start from first one, building an efficient inventory management system. This project requires the development of a system that can handle various aspects of inventory management, such as product management, stock tracking, order processing, and report generation. The second one is applying basic Python programming concepts. And this project practices basic Python programming techniques such as file processing using data structures in the form of lists, function, and others. The third one is data management with persistence. This project ensures the program to ensure good data storage and retrieval through text files to record information about products, suppliers, and orders. The fourth one is smooth user experience. The program created must be developed with an easy-to-use system menu so that the users are also happy when using the program. And the fifth one is informative information presentation. So generate relevant reports so that users can easily view the stored data information properly and easily. And the sixth one is good error handling. To ensure the system can handle input validation and error scenarios properly to ensure program reliability. And last but not least, improving team collaboration. Involve team members in designing, developing, and demonstrating projects through group presentation. Next, I'll be explaining about the functions and the system design overview. So these are the functions that we use. The first one is main, add product, update product, add supplier, get delivery status, place order, view inventory, report, and clear console. Next, I'm going to explain one by one from the function itself. So I'll start with the main function. So this function is to call all functions based on input and loops until the user chooses to exit. In addition, this program is also made more interactive by mentioning the name of the user where it was inputted at the beginning. So this is the example of the output. Next is the flowchart. So this is the main function flowchart. It starts from here, and then it put username, display greeting, display action menu, and users input action, where there's an action choices whether the user choose from 1 to 8 or the user choose the number is not from the list. If it's not from the list, it will display an error message and it will go back to the display action menu. If it's the user input the correct format or the correct number, it will go to here. And for 8, it will goes to the end because the number 8 is exit. And from while the number 1 until 7, it will go to here. And for the number 7, it will display the member. And from 1 to 6, it will uh, action chosen will be calling the respective function. And then for the display member, it will go to here and ask the user whether they want to continue the program or not. And if it's no, then goes to the end. Yes, it will go back to display action menu again. And yeah. Next is the add product function, which this function enables the user to add the new product into the product.txt file. This is the example of the output. And next is the flowchart. So it starts from here and it opens the product.txt file in append mode. And then it continues with the user input and it continues with the validation. If it's false, for example, the all fields are must be required. So it will go back again into the user inputs. While if it's true, it will go continue to the other validation until it's correct until the end, and it goes stop at the end. Next is the update product. This function enables the user to update the product detail in the product.txt file. This is the example of the output. And this is the flowchart. It starts from here and it goes to open the product.txt file in read mode and read lines. If the file is not found, it will display an error message and it goes to the end. If the file is found, then it goes to display current inventory, and then users input for product ID, and then there is also validation for searching the product in the inventory. If it's found, then it will go to here. If it's not found, it will display an error message, like for example, like this, product ID not found, and it goes to the end. If the product is found, then it will display current product details, and then ask user for new product details, and then update product details in the list, and save updated list back to the product.txt and display the success message, and it goes to the end. Next is the add supplier function. This function enables user to add the new supplier into the supplier.txt file, and this is the example of the output. And this is the example of the flowchart. Start from here, and then it goes with the while true, and then the user need to input the supplier ID, and then there's also a validation. If it's true, then it goes to display an error message here, and then it goes back to the while true. While if it's false, then it will go back and go here, enter supplier name. Basically, it's the user input, and there's also another validation here. For example, this one, if not name or contact, then it's true. It will print the error message, and it will go back to the enter supplier name. While if it's false, then it continues to here. If not, contact is digit, then true, then goes to here. If it's false, then it goes to here, open and read supplier's txt file. And then it continues to here. And then next one, it continues to here. And then there is also another validation here. If it's true, then it will display the error message. And if it's false, then it will continue here. Another validation, and yeah, so on and so forth. Next is the place order. This function allows the user to input the necessary information for placing an order. For example, like this one, this is the example of the output. And this is the flowchart. It starts from here, and then print enter product ID to order, and then enter the product ID. And then there is also a validation where the product ID, if it's not in 4-digit, then it will print an error message. And if it's false, then it will open up the product.txt file in read mode. And then there's also another validation where if ID found in file, then it means true that it will go continue here. And if it's false, then it will print an error message. And then from here, print the enter quantity to order, and the user need to input the quantity. And then there's also another validation. If the order quantity is in a valid number, it will continue to here. If it's no, then it will print an error message to please enter a number, and then it goes back to here. And then after the validation is finished, then it will print enter supplier ID, this one. And yeah, there's also another validation here and another validation here. And we'll continue to here. But this one I will explain further in the next section. Sorry. So this one is the get delivery status function, which enables the user to select a delivery status from 3 options, which are incomplete, pending, and done, to label the current order that is being placed. For example, the output is this one. And next, this is the flowchart that I've been mentioning before. So this one is start from here, then display the options, the 3 options, and then it prints the select the number corresponding to current delivery status of order, and then the user enter the choice. And there's also another validation. If the choice an integer number, if it's no, then it will print this invalid input, and it will go back to the print to select the number corresponding to current delivery status of order. If it's correct, that means yes, and it will continue to another validation, which is this one. If it's false, then it will print this, If it's true, then it will open up the order.txt file in append mode and write order details in file, and then print order placed successfully and display order summary, and then stop here. Next is the view inventory function, which allows the user to view the inventory of the products and suppliers they have added. This one is the example of the output. And here is the flowchart. So basically it starts from here and open up the product.txt file. If the file is found, then it will continue to do the program. If it's false, then it goes to the end. Okay, so while the file is found, it will print the first or the next line, and then print the next line, again, the product from product ID, product name, product description, and so on. Then there is also another validation. For example, if there is still any product after the last line, it will continue again back from the first one to print all of the information. If it's no, then it will continue to close the product.txt file and print the total number of products, and it will open up the supplier's txt file. If not found, then it will display an error message and it goes to the end. And then if the file is found, then it will go to here to read the supplier.txt as lines, and then it prints the supplier ID, supplier name, and so on until this validation, which if it's still there is another supplier after the last line, it will continue go back to here. And if it's done, then it will goes to close the supplier.txt file and print the total number of suppliers, and it goes to the end. And next is the report function, which allows the user to view the report of their inventory, such as load stock, total products, total inventory value, average product price, most expensive product, cheapest product, total product quantity, and product list. This is the example of the output. And this is the flowchart. So it starts from here and then open the product.txt file. While the file cannot be found, it will print an error message here. And if it can be found, then it will go to here with the product.txt file as lines. And then if the file cannot be read, there's also another error message. And if the file can be read, it goes to here. And yeah, until this is another validation. And then if it's no, it will continue to here to stock sufficient. And if it's yes, then it will go to here. And then this is actually the initialized variables for future use, this one. And it will go to here. There's also another validation here. Still have product in the next line. If it's yes, then it will continue go back to here to do the program. If it's no, then it will continue to here to calculate the average price, and it will print all of this, and it goes to the end. And this one is the clear console function, which allows the user to clear the terminal screen, making it easier to present a clean interface for the user. And this is the flowchart. It starts from here, and then the validation OS name equals to NT, which it means that whether it using Windows device or not. If it's yes, then it will use the CLS function or code. And if it's no, then it will use the clear one. And both will go to the end. And yeah, that's it from my part. And I will be passing it to Nicholas.
Okay, so hi Dr. Anwar. My name is Nicholas. Now I'm going to present you how the code runs. Okay, so now let's run the code here, and here the program asks for our name. Let's just input our name, and here the program will give us the action list. We need to input the numbers for our wanted action. So here we're going to add a product first. Okay, now the program asks for to enter a product ID in 4 numbers. Let's just type 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say the product name is milk, 5 ringgit, and maybe like 10 quantity. Okay, now here the program shows us that the product is added successfully. Now let's add another product again. Now here, let's say if we add we type only 3 numbers. Let's say the product name is sugar, maybe 5 ringgit, product quantity 2. Here the program will give us an error message where the product ID must be exactly 4 numbers. Now let's try to add another product again. Here, how about we input 4 letters instead of number? Let's say A, B, C, D. Let's say it's milk. Milk. This time is 7 ringgit and maybe 2 milk. Here it will display an error message again. It says the ID must be a number. Now let's try it again. Now this time, maybe we try to leave it blank, all the sections. And here it will state an error message where all fields are required. Now let's move on to the second one. And no, before that, let's input more products. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 5. Maybe sugar. Maybe this time is 10 ringgit and 20 sugar. And let's add one more. Product. Let's add bread. Maybe this time of 4 ringgit and let's put 10 bread. Okay, now let's move on to the second options, which is the update a product detail. Now let's choose 2. Here it will shows us the current inventory. It will show us the product 1, product 2, product 3 that we just input before. Now let's say we want to update our first product, which is the milk. Let's input our ID. Here, the current product details that we choose before, the 1, 2, 3, 4 ID is milk. Description is a milk, and the price is 5 ringgit, and the product quantity is 10. Let's say we want to change milk into fried rice. A new product, fried rice. Let's say we want to change the price into like 10 ringgit and maybe 5 fried rice. Okay, now let's try to update it again. And here we can see the first product, it becomes a fried rice. Let's say if we enter the product that is not exists. Let's say the product ID is 0000. Here, the program will display an error message where the product ID is not found. Let's say if we want to add another product again, and here we already input 1, 2, 3, 4 before. Let's try to input it again, and maybe we try a different name. This time we use a water bottle. Let's say it's 50 ringgit and maybe 20 water bottle. Here it will display an error message where the product ID is already exists. So we need to choose a unique ID. Now let's try to update the product again. Let's say we want to edit the second product, which is the ID is 1235, and here the current product details is the name of the product is sugar, description of sugar is 10 ringgit and 20 in quantity. So let's say we want to keep the name still sugar and the description is still a sugar, and maybe we want to update the price. Maybe we increase the price into 12 ringgit, and maybe the quantity we add 5 more, so 25. So the product will be updated successfully. Now let's move on to the add a new supplier. Here we need to input a supplier ID. Let's type the same 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe the supplier name is Kaisin. The contact must be numeric, so let's say is 24000. here the program will give us a supplier added successfully. And here we can see there is another new file created, which is the suppliers.txt. Now let's try to add another supplier again. And this time, let's say the supplier ID is 00001. Supplier name maybe Johan. And the supplier contact, maybe let's try to put it as a string. Maybe we can put it as Roti. And the program will give us an error message where the contact must be numeric. Okay, now let's move on to the place the order. Before that, let's view our inventory first. So here we can see that there is like total of 3 products, which is the first one is the fried rice, sugar, and the bread. And the supplier here, we see that we just inputted, which is Kaizen here. Now, let's place an order. Now we can enter the product ID that we want to order. Let's say we want to order sugar. So we input 1, 2, 3, 5. And let's say we want to order like 2 sugar, and the supplier, let's buy it from Kaizen, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, the ID. And we can select the order status. So the first one is incomplete, second one is pending, and third one is done. And this is just the text for the loading part. Now we need to select the number corresponding to the current delivery status of the order. So maybe let's say the sugar is already arrived, so we type 3, which is done. So the order is placed successfully. So here the product, the order quantity is 2, supplier ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. The delivery status is done, and the time that we order is this, which records our current time. Now let's try to generate the report. Here they will give us the overview of all the things. So there will be a total 3 products, and the total inventory value will be 26 ringgit. The average product price is 8.67 ringgit. The most expensive product is sugar, which is 12 ringgit, and the cheapest product is bread, which is 4 ringgit. So the total product quantity is 40 products. So this is the product list. It will show the ID, the name, price, quantity, and it will also show the stock. Whether the stock is low or sufficient. So the stock is low if the stock is less than 10, but if the stock is more than 10, it will show the sufficient stocks. Okay, now let's type 7, which is about us. So this is about our group here. So it will display our group name, and the program will ask us about whether we want to still continue using our program. Let's say we still want to continue. And now let's try to search for some error. Let's say if we delete the product.txt file and the supplier file and the order.txt file. Okay, now after deleting the product.txt file and the supplier.txt file, now let's try to view our inventory here. So it will display an error message where no product has been added yet. And so we're required to add a product and the supplier first. Now let's try to generate the report here. So it also displays an error message where there is no product found. So we are required to input our product first. Okay, so let's try to do some error testing here to the action list. Now here the program says that we can only input from number 1 until number 8. So now let's try to input number 9. So now here the program will give an error message where the number is invalid. Please enter a number from our service, which is 1 until 8. Okay, so that will be all. So now let's exit our program and it will display a thank you message for using our program. Okay, so that will be all for the code tasks. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Anwar. My name is Kaisir, and I'm going to discuss about the challenges and solutions that we found in the project. So the first problems that we face is data arrangement format. So we initially desire to arrange the data format horizontally due to the thought that it will be applicable to other systems, but we realized that it will be difficult to do a product update system. So the solution for this problem is we change the user input data format to line per line. And this is the example for the code that we use in the final product. And then the next problem that we face is to avoid duplication. So our system was missing a prevention feature of product duplicates. Hence, it was possible for users to enter the same product in the file. And the solution for this problem is we included an if statement to the code, where if the product ID entered by the user match an existing one in the file, the system will display an error message. And only the product ID is checked because every product ID is unique. And this is the example for the solution. And the next challenge is insufficient and erroneous input data. So the initial system had incomplete information checks, for example, empty name or empty contact field boxes, and allowed invalid contact info, which included non-numeric formats. And the solution for this problem is we improved the input validation by adding the first is a check for empty fields, for name and contact must be filled, and a filter to remove invalid contacts containing letters or symbols by numerically validating it through the isDigit method. And this is the example for the code. And then we have another problem, which is file operation exception handling. So when a file does not exist, the program crashes due to a file not found error instead of creating a new file. So the solution for this problem is we use a try except block to handle a case of file not found error to create a new file. And this will keep the program running whether the file is existing or not, and creating the file if it does not exist. And this is the code for the problem. And finally, the last challenge is confusion and management of data. So the provider supplier data was all in one line, and this might cause problems when parsing it in the future. So the solution for this problem is we use a comma separator format to store data. The supplier ID, name, and contact information are clearly outlined. And this implemented format is suitable for further processing of data. And this is the code they use in the final product. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Hey there, it's Maybelline. So I'll be discussing the strengths and limitations of this inventory management system. First and foremost, one of the strengths is the structured code. The functions implemented are responsible for adding a new product, updating a product, adding a supplier, viewing inventory, and generating a report. Using functions makes it easier for code management and debugging to run smoothly. Another strength is the error handling. There are many input validations that we apply to maintain the integrity of our system program. For example, checking whether the files exist, ensuring the product ID consists of 4 digits, matching user input IDs against files, and many more. Additionally, this system displays user-friendly messages. If there is a validation that fails, the system program will display an error message, including clear information to help users understand what is wrong or how to input the correct data. Moreover, this system generates inventory report. This inventory report will greatly assist users in managing their inventory, starting from the average price of the product, the most expensive product, the cheapest product, and others. This will come in handy for monthly and annual reviews. This system uses file-based storage. The use of this program is very simple because the data entered by users will be saved to a file without requiring a database. However, this system has its limitations. One of them is the performance. The current system stores supplier, product, and order information in text files. These will be poorly performed when it deals with a great volume of information. Therefore, performance issues such as lagging may occur. Another limitation is concurrency issue. This program uses files with data storage. Therefore, it does not support simultaneous access because it can damage the system. Last but not least is the lack of security. This system program does not have user authentication. Hence, all users have free access to add, change, and delete data if they want to. In conclusion, this system has its own advantages and downsides. Further improvement is needed to enhance its efficiency and also to boost its security. And that is all.
Hello, I'm Reina. Now I will talk about a future improvement of this program. We have found several key areas where we can make the program more functional and efficient and easier for users. I will explain these improvements one by one. First, database integration. Right now we manage data using the files, but by switching to the strong database like SQLite or MSQL, the speed of data processing and the retrieval will improve a lot, and the system will be able to handle more data. This will ensure the system works smoothly even when there's a lot of data or heavy usage. Next, user authentication and access control. By adding user authentication, we will increase the security of the system. We can set roles and permissions to make sure that only authorized users can change or delete important data, which helps protect the system's integrity. The third improvement is improving users' interface and experience. We will make the menu system easier to use, allow users to cancel actions if needed, shortcuts for faster navigation, and improve error messages. This will make the system more user-friendly and accessible to everyone, no matter their skill level. The first improvement is supporting for simultaneous access to avoid problems when multiple users are using the system at the same time. We will add features to handle multiple actions without causing errors. This will help keep the data safe and prevent files from being damaged, especially in busy environments with many users. The fifth improvement is better reporting tools. We will add more features to the reports, including charts and graphs, trend analysis, and automatic emails for lower stock items. This will help users make decisions faster and improve inventory management. Finally, cloud integration and backup. By connecting to cloud storage services, we can automatically backup data and allow remote access. This will help prevent data loss and make sure that the system can be accessed from anywhere, supporting business continually. These improvements will make the system much stronger and better able to handle future changes in business needs. Let's move on to the conclusion. The main goal of this system is to help businesses manage their inventory more efficiently and accurately and supporting smooth operations. Our current system already has good error handling and an easy user operation. With the improvements I've mentioned, the system will become even more efficient and secure. Through this project, each of us, both individually and as a team, took the initiative to learn and work on project. Along the way, we faced many challenges, and by thinking about how to improve and cooperating as a team, we were able to learn a lot. Then this project has reached its current stage, but we strongly believe there is still room for further improvements. The feedback we will receive will be very valuable, and it will help guide our future development. We will use your feedback to improve and then learn more as we move forward. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you so much.